original conference over the weekend, and there's just some things that I learned, and it's very fits right into our worship this morning. And one of those things is just our praises to the Lord. And you guys, it doesn't matter if we're off time or if we come to the Lord and we're grouchy or maybe we just feel like we've sinned our way out of worship that week. God just opens his arms to us, and he just receives us wherever we're at. So I just want to encourage you that this morning, wherever you're at, if you're on top of the world this morning, or if you're just in a pit and you don't feel like God loves you, he loves you and he adores you, and he's just waiting for you just to come and to worship him this morning. So a couple weeks ago, Jen and I got together. We've been doing that a little bit more lately, and just working with some of the music and songs and different things, and we had it put on our heart this week to do a service of healing. And so I want to read to you guys some verses. Matthew 18:20 says, "For where two or more are gathered together in my name, I am among them." So you guys, we are here. There is obviously two or more of us here in this room. So I believe with all my heart that God is here, and he is ready to do some amazing things in this place. And it also says, in 2 Chronicles 7:14, "If my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land." Are you guys just ready to see God do some amazing things today? So if you are able to stand this morning in the presence of the Lord, we're just going to pray. And we're just going to let God take completely over as we just surrender this service to him. The altars are open, you guys. I find so much freedom in the altar and just coming and surrender to the Lord. So please feel free to come to the altar if God is prompting your heart. Please don't be afraid. I can remember standing in those chairs many years and just like not being able to move because I thought what people would think about me. But you know what, guys? It's not about what people think about you, because we're all screwed up in some way, shape, or form. God is just waiting for you to come to the altar and to be in his presence and to worship him and to honor him and to break some chains and heal in this place. So God, I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, God, that we can come here and we can be in your presence this morning and we can honor you. You are so good and you are so mighty. I thank you for the healing that you're already doing in this place. I thank you for the emotional healing, the marital healing, the relational healing, the physical healing, the spiritual healing, and most of all, God, I pray for our relationship with you for healing. I just pray that in this place. God, we surrender our worship to you. We surrender everything to you today, God. We love you, and we cherish you, and we are excited of what you're going to do in Jesus' name. And all his people said, amen. Let's worship, church. the chains, break down the walls of our hearts right now, Lord God. As we just seek your heart, God, as we just sit on your lap this morning and just honor you and worship you with our whole heart, Father. I thank you that you receive us. I thank you that you died for us. And I thank you that we can give you our praise, for you are so mighty and good. And we ask you just to come now, Lord, like never before. Come now, Lord Jesus.
Seek your face.
Do what only you can do, Lord. I thank you for the chains that you are breaking right now, Lord God. I thank you for the lives and relationships that you are healing and the bodies that you are healing in this place. Oh, chains fall, fear bow here now. Jesus, you change everything. Lives healed, hope found here now. Jesus, you change everything. Chains fall, fear bow here now. Jesus, you change everything. Lives healed, hope found here now. Jesus, you change everything. Jesus, that you care about each and every detail of our lives, even those that seem so silly, so minute, Lord. God, there's someone here right now in this place that is struggling so hard. They need you so desperately, Lord. They need your touch so desperately, Father. And they need to know that you will change everything, that all of our hope is found in you. I thank you for our hope. I thank you for the healing that you are dripping right now from the ceiling, God. I thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for your presence this morning, Lord. And I thank you for your love. Amazing love that's welcome. Thank you for your goodness, Lord. God, I pray that we would believe that greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. God, I pray that you would give us a belief this morning that we are blessed and that we are called and we are healed in the name of Jesus. Oh Lord, you hold my every moment. Oh Lord, you calm my raging seas. You walk with me through fire and heal all my disease. I trust in you. surrender and trust to you that you are all that we need in any area, God, of our life. Any area, Father, that you are faithful and your hands of healing are upon us, upon relationships, Lord, upon our homes. But God, I pray most of our relationship is healed with you, that we desire you above all else. So God, I love you. We praise you in this place. We worship you and cherish you in this place in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit.
My sons and my daughters, today stands before you a choice. In this world that seems so dark and evil, will you go with the dark and the evil? Or will you look and see my face? Will you stand and rejoice, glory in my glory?
Yes.
Where you are to share my glory. Where you are to share my love.
Hallelujah.
Praise you.
Thank you, God. You've got a hand clap for his word to us today. Hallelujah. Praise God. You may be seated in God's presence. Good morning, church.
Good morning.
We come into this place, and sometimes we expect things to happen. Sometimes we don't expect things to happen. But I believe today is the day to expect things to happen, church. And as we come through this time of worship, as we sing with our mouths, and as we hear God's word come through a word in giving us direction on how we should live. This is the way the church functions, and we are grateful and blessed to be a part of it. As we continue today, we are first Sunday of the month, and we are here to do communion, and it's time to celebrate that together as we worship, continue to worship. Our communion is an open communion. That means if you are a believer in Jesus, you're part of the body of Christ. We want you to take with us. It is a time where, as we go through our day today, you're going to see a little theme that's happening. And our theme is this: we believe that God is a healer.
Amen.
We believe that God is a God that can take brokenness and make it whole. We believe that God can take your pains and take them away and erase them. We believe that God is a God that does amazing things, and that's why we are here. And we are going to take communion today. Communion is part of a healing process. It is a time where Jesus says in Scripture, he says, while they were eating, Jesus took the bread. He said, and this was with his disciples, he took the bread, and when he'd given thanks, he broke it and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take and eat, this is my body." Then he took the cup, and had given thanks. He gave it to them, and saying, "Drink from it, all of you. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. And I tell you that I will not drink from this fruit of the vine from now until the day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom." Today, as we read that, this is telling us that God was providing healing for his people. He was providing forgiveness. He was providing a new way of meeting with him. And today we celebrate that. We remember Jesus and the sacrifice that he made for us, the healing that he brought to us, and all the good things that he has given us. So today, as we go through the communion service, as we celebrate this, as you take the bread, I want you to take the bread today, and I want you to take the cup, and I don't want you just to take it and talk to your neighbor about how beautiful a day it is and what you're going to grill bratwurst later. You know what I'm saying? Take the bread today. Take the bread and remember the broken body that we talked about all through Easter. Remember how his body was broken for each and every one of us. And remember, as you take the cup, of the forgiveness that is in Jesus' blood, and all the different things that Jesus has forgiven you and just washed away, and the good healing that he's brought to you. So today, as we partake in communion, I want you to slow down and to process the good things that Jesus has done for you, and to remember all that he's done. So I'm going to have the gatekeepers come forward. We're going to take communion together. It says he took the bread, he broke it, and he gave thanks. Let's pray. God, we come before you. We thank you for Jesus and this bread that represents his body. We thank you for the good things that we have been given. as we do this today, God, we want to remember Jesus and honor him and thank him for all that you've done for us, Jesus. We give you praise. We love you. We thank you for the healing that comes through this time of communion. And we give you praise. We do this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. And I will love you, Lord, my strength. And I will love you, Lord, my shield. Oh, I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days I will love you, God. Oh God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. And I will love you, Lord, my strength. Oh, I will love you, Lord, my shield. Oh, I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days I will love you, God. And I will love you, Lord, my strength. And I will love you, Lord, my shield. I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days I will love you, God.
It says the same way he was to come. Let's pray. Father, we come before you again. We thank you for the shed blood of Jesus. We thank you for the forgiveness of sin that comes through this shed blood. We thank you that you have given us this time where we can celebrate, we can rejoice the goodness of our Savior Jesus and to remember the sacrifice that he made for us. We give you praise. Jesus, we thank you for your love for us, that you would go to the cross for each and every one of us. We pray these things in your name, Jesus. Amen.
God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. And I will love you, Lord, my strength. And I will love you, Lord, my shield. Oh, I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my my days, I will love you, God. Oh, hallelujah, our God reigns. Oh, hallelujah, our God reigns. Oh, hallelujah, our God reigns. Forever all my days, hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah, our God reigns. Oh, hallelujah, our God reigns. Oh, hallelujah, our God reigns. Forever all my days, hallelujah.
You are good, and we thank you for your love for us. God bless us for our service. We give you praise. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. We serve an awesome God, church. Amen. We're going to continue our time of worship with our tithes and offerings. So you just want to pray with me? God, we just thank you for your goodness and your glory, God. We thank you that your power is so mighty and that you're just above all, and that all authority has been given to you, God. We just pray that you just continue to let us see you and feel you during this time, God. Bless this time of tithes and offerings, and just bless the giver as they give the true for a heart, God. And just let these funds just go and multiply and just expand your kingdom throughout the community, God. We just love you so much. We thank you for this time that we have with you. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. As the gatekeepers are going forward, check out your bulletins. It's full of a bunch of stuff that we're doing here. One big announcement is on Wednesday, May 8th. The flowers from the flower sales will be here. So if you ordered flowers or you sold flowers from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock on Wednesday, May 8th, you can come pick up your flowers here. And that being said, we will need help unloading the truck. It's going to come around 8 o'clock. It's supposed to come between 8 and 10 o'clock. So if you guys can help on Wednesday, May 8th, around 8 o'clock, you can get here and help us unload the truck. That'd be awesome. We need hands to make light work, and that's what the church is for, to do work for the name of Christ. So if you can help us with that, that'd be awesome. And then check out the bulletins, Kids Zone, Next Level, Moms Group, CR, a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Check out something, get involved. We just so excited to see what God's going to do in this coming summer. Oh, and after the second service, our Go Serve team will be helping do the roadside pickup. So if you guys want to come back after the second service and come help and be a part of the body of Christ and serve our community as well, then that's something you guys can do. If you have any questions, you can see Kevin Stivers, and he'll talk to you more about that.
And there's something about
The Moms Group is doing a Pictures with Moms. So if you want to come and get your picture taken with your moms, the Moms Group will be putting that on. So be ready with your smiles for cameras and pictures with your mom. Anything else?
and there's something about the way your sun shines on my face. It's a love so true, I can never get enough of you. This feeling can't be wrong. I'm about to get my worship on. Take me away.
For Ben, that you would give him peace and comfort, and that you would be with him. We
Good morning. Today we are going to talk about healing a little bit. Today we're going to talk about some different things through Scripture as we continue on through the service today. In our world today, there's a lot of things going on, and I want to just shout out real quick. There's a lot of things going on in our communities. We have graduations coming up for our graduates. Do you realize that? How many of you graduates, are there any graduates in here? A lot of them had prom last night. But make sure that if you have a graduate that they text me that they're graduating, so I know it's in the bulletin, my number, to do that. So I remember to honor, we want to honor them coming up on the 19th. So just give me a heads up on who's graduating so we can keep track of everybody's graduating. Not just from high school, from college, and from 8th grade. We're looking for our graduates. The good news is, a lot of you know, but Shelly graduated with her master's yesterday from Judson College, and praise God. That's been a long journey, but it's a good journey. But today we're going to talk about some different things, and we're going to talk about healing. And the thing is, in our world today, there's a lot of pain. If you look around in your friends and people around you in our world, there's a lot of pain. And we talk about pain, we're not always talking about physical pain. There's physical pain, obviously, you see it around. The older I get, the more I realize that my bones and my joints and my different things aren't the way they used to be when I was 20. And I play catch with the boys at baseball practice. I get home, I need to ice down, and I need to use the icy hot and all kinds of good things to try to make myself feel better. So life changes. There's physical pain around us. And if we look around, we see people who are hurting and sick, and we see people who are struggling with sicknesses and different kind of disease all around us. We also see a lot of emotional pain and hurting around us. And people are struggling with life and all that's been thrown at them. Today we're going to talk about dealing with that because we just came through Easter and we got all the way through Easter. We talked about the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus, and we celebrated all that. And we talked about last week. We talked about going out and being evangelists and telling the world about how good Jesus is. And it's kind of and that's what the word was given to us today about going out and making a difference. And today we're going to talk about the more to it. We go through our Christian walk, and a lot of times we go, when you say, if someone asks, are you a Christian? You say, yeah, I'm a Christian, that's all good. But we don't see the stuff, the extra stuff, the things that God has given to us, and we don't realize how good God has been to us. And today we're going to talk about the extra. We're going to talk about the so what and the now what type of thing after Easter. And today we're going to talk about healing and about the importance that we don't need to go through life hurting, church. A lot of us go through life and we're hurting. Maybe physically, but a lot of us go through life emotionally just hurting. And I believe God's calling us out of that today. So let's look at Luke 5 in Scripture. We're going to look at a story that a lot of us know, but it's a good story. Luke 5, we're going to look at verses 17 through 26. Luke 5, 17 through 26. When you got it, say got it PT. If you got your paper Bible or your phone, it'll also be up here over my head. Got it? We got one or two people? All right, good. All right, good. Got it. Man, you're a lively group today. It says this. It's beautiful outside, right? Woohoo, didn't snow. Anyways, Luke 5, 17 through 26 says this. One day as he was teaching, the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, who had come from every village in Galilee and from Judea and from Jerusalem, were sitting there. And the power of the Lord was present to him to heal the sick. Some men came carrying a paralytic on a mat and tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. When they could not find a way to do this because of the crowd, they went onto the roof and lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd, right in front of Jesus. When Jesus saw their faith, he said, Friend, your sins are forgiven. The Pharisees and the teacher of the law began thinking to themselves, who is this fellow who speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone? Jesus knew that what they were thinking and asked, why are you thinking these things in your heart? Which is easier to say, forget your sins are forgiven, or is to say, get up and walk? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. He said to the paralyzed man, I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home. Immediately he stood up in front of them. He took what he had been laying on and went home, praising God. Verse 26, everyone was amazed and gave praise to God. They were filled with awe and said, we have seen remarkable things today. If you underline in your Bible, write that down. Underline it, highlight it on your phone, whatever you have. We have seen remarkable things today. As we leave today, that is the phrase that I want to be on our lips. As every time you come into this building, every time you pull onto this campus, every time you are here for something, no matter if it's just walking around our path, playing on the playground, kids zone, or church, or whatever you do here, test driving a car for Winnebago High School. Now, I don't know if they're still out there anymore, but there was a bunch of Fords out there this morning when I got here. I want us to be able to leave here saying, we have seen remarkable things today because our God. Here we have Jesus teaching the crowds. He's got the Pharisees and the teachers of the law. They're all there, and what he's doing is this. He is speaking life to a people. He is speaking good news of what is coming and what has come. He was telling them of the great movement that was happening right before their eyes. And the power of God was so strong in the place, and the people knew it. And the people knew it. You know when the power of God is someplace. You know when God is working. You know when there is his presence is thick. And at this time, when they were sitting there listening to Jesus speak, the power of God was so thick, and everybody there knew. And the crowds grew and grew, and the house was packed of people. And some people who had a friend who was a paralytic who couldn't walk, and they heard what was going on. So they were bringing this guy on a mat to Jesus so Jesus could heal him, because they knew that the power of God was in that place and mighty things were going to happen. So they brought him to see Jesus, and they get there to have this man healed. Their excitement had to be awesome. Their hope and their joy as bringing this guy, they're taking him and saying, come on, buddy, we're going to take you, and this Jesus, he's going to heal you, and you're going to be able to walk. You know there had to be excitement. But when they got there, the crowd was so big, they couldn't get into the house to see Jesus. They got there, and there was no way to get to Jesus. There was so many people trying to get to him and listening to him. So they did what any good group of men would do. They cut a hole in the roof and dropped the man through it. I should have said lower, because I don't think they just went. That would have been mean. That's what Bob would have done. Anyways. But they put the man through it. And they knew something big was going to happen. They knew that nothing could stop them from seeing what God was going to do. They knew that they had to get this man to Jesus' feet. So they placed the man through the roof down right in front of Jesus at Jesus' feet. What an awesome thing to see. How amazing would that be to be there listening to Jesus? You're in the crowd listening, and you're sitting there going, that's Jesus. He's speaking some good things. And all of a sudden you see this, there's a guy. And Jesus saw what was happening. He had to be like a spider coming down. If a spider came down, I would see it, and I would. But he saw this happening. It was coming down, and he looked at the man, and he said this, friend, your sins are forgiven. Friend, your sins are forgiven. I read that, and it's amazing because other times in Scripture, Jesus calls people by their name. You know that? He calls Lazarus by his name when he calls him out of death. He calls demons out by name. But at this time, he just said, friend, friend, friend. I love that. Friend, your sins are forgiven.
Amen.
All of a sudden, the Pharisees, the teachers of the law, their brains explode. Who is this guy? Why is he doing this? He can't do that. Who does he think he is? They didn't think Jesus had the authority to do that. They didn't like the way things were going. In verse 22 it says, as we'll read it again, it says, Jesus knew what they were thinking, and he asked, why are you thinking these things in your heart? That had to freak him out even more. And he said, which is easier to say, your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up and walk? That you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. He said to the paralyzed man, I tell you, take your mat and go home. Jesus knew what was going on in their minds. Jesus knew what they were thinking. Jesus knew that they weren't sure or happy with what was going on. And right in front of their eyes, he healed the man anyways. Not only was the man healed physically, but as he got up and walked, but guess what else got healed? His emotions, his spirit, who he was, the way he thought. Everything about the man was healed right there in his presence. A lot of times, all we think about is the man was able to walk. That was part of it. That was the outward thing that we got to see, and we go, man, Jesus said, your sins are forgiven, get up, and he got up and he walked, and woo, guy could walk again. But there's more to it, church. That physical healing was awesome. But the big thing was this. You know what happened to that man that day? His burdens were lifted off of him. How many of us would like to have our burdens lifted off of us? Burdens were lifted. Guilt and shame were thrown out through the windows of the house or through the hole in the roof. No more guilt and shame. Jesus forgave him right there in that place. He had joy and peace that were restored. The man was made whole again, not just his physical body, but everything about him. We would say that he was given, get you ready for this? He was given new life.
Amen.
He was made new. He danced out of there praising God. I picture this now. Now, it was so packed they couldn't get him in there. So it was so packed, Jesus says, you're forgiven, get up, go, take your mat and go. He gets up and he dances out of there. I could just see it like the parting of the sea. People just looking. And this guy's dancing out of there. And everyone, it says everyone in that place praised God, except for the ones who were mad. It says, and they were filled with awe and said, we have seen remarkable things today. They were filled with awe and said, we have seen remarkable things today. What an incredible account for us to take in. As we look at this, you're sitting there going, so what, Tim? What does this have to do? I want you to know this. God is in the business of healing his people. Complete healing. Too often we only focus on one or the other. If we're sick, what do we want? We want that physical healing. If we're dealing with emotional stuff and we're dealing with our sin and unforgiveness, we want that healing. But I want you to understand that God is a God of complete healing and restoration to make you new. And as we look around our world today, there are people, and maybe even us sitting in this room today, that are in need of complete restore. Restoration. To be made new. To be filled with God's power. To see his power work. And to walk out of this place saying, we have seen remarkable things today. We have seen remarkable things today. But the problem is this. The problem is this. The enemy is out there, and the enemy is real, and the enemy wants you to not believe these things. The enemy wants you to think that that is a story in Scripture, and it doesn't pertain to you, that your life is tough, and it's going to be tough, and that God doesn't care about you, and that there's nothing he can do to help you because you're just a lowly loser sinner. That's what the enemy wants to pour onto you and to put onto your shoulders. The enemy is out to take away all that God has made good. The enemy is out there to steal away all the joy and the peace that God gives. And in John 10:10, which is a familiar scripture we use here a lot at New Life Bible Church, it says this, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Too many people in our world today are being robbed of the good things that God has for them. Too many people and families in our world are being killed by the enemy's deception. Too many people around us are having their lives destroyed by all the enemy throws at them on a daily basis. But church, there's an answer. Jesus says this, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Jesus is a healer of all that the enemy tries to take away and tries to destroy. Jesus provides abundant life. Jesus provides freedom. Jesus provides all that we need. And we should say, we have seen remarkable things. In Luke, Jesus quotes Isaiah and says this. He says in Luke 4:18 through 19, he says, if you don't have this underlined, you need to have it underlined so you can find it, because these are scriptures that are important and very important to us as we think about these things. It says in Luke 4, it says, the Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, and to release the oppressed, and to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. There are a lot of people in this place that need to that say that this is a year of the Lord's favor.
Amen.
Today is a day of favor for you, church.
Amen.
Today is a day of favor.
Amen.
Every day that you wake up and you go, suck in air, is a day of favor. You might go, but my life is not very favorful. Not very full of favor. You might say that I have struggles. I have things that are rough in my family. I have tough things. I want you to know, if you woke up today and took a breath and you're sitting here in this sanctuary, you are full of favor. Today is a day of God granting you freedom. Today is a day of God granting you healing. Today is a day of God is setting you free from all that is holding you back. Today is the day that you will leave this place and say, we have seen remarkable things. But how does that work? You might be sitting here going, I don't feel any different now than I did when I came in. Well, I want you to know that God has a plan for you. I want you to understand that before we leave this place today, you're going to have the same opportunity that the man with the mat had before Jesus, except for I'm not Jesus, but Jesus is here. You understand that? Do you remember what it said? That God's healing power was in that place, strong? I believe that as you walk into this building, God's healing presence is strong in this place all the time. If you want to go and get away from the world in life, come here and just walk through the place. If you want to feel God's healing presence and power and you're struggling, walk the path out back and go stand on the back 40 and look this way. Actually, the back 22. You'll see God's presence and his power. You'll see that he does remarkable things. Today we're going to take some time, and we're going to do something a little different we haven't done for a while. We're going to take some time to pray. And we're going to pray for the sick to be healed. We're going to pray for the hurting to be made new. We're going to pray for those sins that we haven't been forgiven to be forgiven. And we're going to pray for peace and joy. We're going to have the worship team come up, and I'm going to have some different ones from our congregation that I asked from our staff and to come up, and we're going to pray for you if you want to be prayed for today. James 5:13 through 15 says this, is any one of you in trouble? He should pray. Is anyone happy? Let him sing songs of praise. Is any one of you sick? He should call the elders of the church to pray over him and anoint him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise him up as he is if he has sinned, he will be forgiven. Today we're coming here to pray. Maybe you're sitting there going, I don't want to come up there. I don't want to talk to one of those guys or ladies and let them know that I'm screwed up. As I think Amy said it earlier, you're all screwed up anyways. We all are. I'm screwed up, you're screwed up. We all have our different areas that we struggle in. But I do not want you to leave out of here without being freed from what God has burdened. You have burdened, or whatever burden you are carrying. God has a better plan. He's given us Jesus for freedom. He's given us from those things. He's given us Jesus for forgiveness. He's given us Jesus for healing. So if you feel trouble today, let's pray. If you're feeling great, let's rejoice. If you are sick, let's anoint you and pray. We got oil up here. You can just ask them if you want to be anointing with oil, we'll anoint you with oil and we'll pray. So as we close with worship today, I want you to understand this. Now is the time. Now is the time to come forward during worship. Come to one of us. If we get overwhelmed, we'll bring more people up to pray. If you need prayer for healing, for forgiveness, or whatever you're dealing with, maybe you're feeling burdened on something, maybe you're sick, we're going to pray for you today. And we're going to walk out of here today after worship and say, we have seen remarkable things. We have seen God work. So if you want to stand with me as we worship, if you'd like to come forward for prayer, the altar is open. If you don't want to pray with one of us, you can pray at the altar. If you'd like one of us to pray with you, we can do that too. So let's pray, church.
Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. 'Cause I am found. I am yours. I am loved. Oh, I'm made pure. I have life. I can breathe. I am healed. Lord, I am free. Here's my heart, Lord. Here it is, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. 'Cause you are strong. You are sure. You are life. You endure. You are good. Always true. You are light. Breaking through. Oh, you are more than enough. You are here. You are love. Oh, you are hope. You are grace. You're all I have. You're everything. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Here's my life, Lord. Oh, here it is, Lord. Here's my life, Lord. It's yours. Oh, here's my life, Lord. Speak what is true. 'Cause I am found. I am yours. I am loved, Lord, and I'm made pure. I have life. I can breathe. I am healed. Oh, I am free. 'Cause you are strong. is true. Here's my life, Lord, we surrender to you, Lord. Here's my life, Lord. Here's my life, Lord. Speak what is true.
As we get ready to go out this day, we can say God has done remarkable things. Amen. If you are still here, we're going to let Glenda and Shelly stay up here for a few minutes after our service. If you'd like to come up and talk to them before you go, I'm sure they'll be okay waiting to talk to you. So if you need more prayer, they'll be here ready to pray for you. So let's pray before we leave today. God, we come before you and we say thank you for how good you are to us. We thank you for the love you've shown us. We thank you for the peace that you've granted us. And God, that is my prayer, that we walk out of here rejoicing in your peace, and your joy, and your goodness. That we say we've seen remarkable things by your power. God, we thank you for the power of the Holy Spirit working in this place. We thank you for your love for us. We ask you to bless us as we go our ways. Let us just see remarkable things through our week. We love you. We thank you for how good you are to us. We ask you to bless us as we go. We thank you, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. And all God's people said, amen. Give God a hand clap as you go out. We have seen remarkable things, church.